Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 10 Part 16 based on novel. So let's start. The entire Divine Item mountain range violently trembled at this moment as golden light spluttered out from deep within the mountain range. An ancient palace slowly appeared in front of the countless pairs of unusually greedy and excited eyes at the spot where the golden light was densest. Divine Item Treasury. Is that the divine object? Mysterious divine palace? Lin Dong looked at the ancient palace within the golden light. There was a trace of shock within his eyes. He could sense an extremely ancient ripple from the ancient palace. The ripple was so old that it appeared as if it originated from ancient times. Bright golden light flowed outside of the ancient palace like liquid. The golden light appeared weak, but Lin Dong could sense an indestructible feeling from it. The divine item treasury has finally appeared. At this moment, countless figures all over the mountain rushed into the air like locusts. Their eyes were searing hot as they gazed at the ancient palace while the various bustling noises from all around reached the peak. Lin Dong scanned his surroundings and discovered that the various groups were already growing restless. Even Blood Dragon Hall, Golden Ape Mountain and Ghost Condor Stream were beginning to stir. Evidently, even the three great demon commanders were unable to remain calm in the face of the divine item treasury. Big brother, no one can enter the divine item treasury. However, several divine objects will fly out each time it opens. If we find something good, we can use the ancient divine tablet's energy to seize it. Little Flame explained from the side. However, because these divine objects can only be snatched using the ancient divine tablet, we will have to be careful once we successfully obtain them. Lin Dong's eyes flickered a little. Soon after, he quickly nodded. There were currently many people eyeing the divine objects. However, there were only 13 ancient divine tablets. People would surely be envious once a divine object was removed from the treasury. Has no one tried to forcefully break open this divine item treasury? Lin Dong looked at the experts with red eyes that covered the mountain range before suddenly asking. Although he was aware that the mysterious divine palace was quite powerful, the combined power of the numerous experts present was likely also rather terrifying. They have tried before. During the period of time when the divine item treasury appears, there were once some factions who cooperated and tried to break open the divine item treasury. However, not only did they fail, a majority of them ended up being killed. Other than a few extremely powerful individuals, everyone else died. Chen Tong continued from behind them. Therefore, there is now basically no one who dares to break open this divine item treasury, including the three great demon commanders. Surprise involuntarily flashed across Lin Dong's eyes when he heard this. Although he was already aware that this mysterious divine palace was definitely powerful, he did not expect that it would be so abnormally strong. This caused his heart to become even more excited. Such a divine object absolutely could not land in the hands of the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander. The golden light deep within the mountain range had reached its peak while Lin Dong and the rest were conversing. The ancient palace had also completely stabilized its existence on this land. Its ancient aura seemed to have originated from ancient times, making one's heart feel both fear and respect. The quivering of the land had already gradually calmed down while the ancient palace quietly stood, causing the divine item mountain range to become silent. However, heavy breathing sounds exposed the terrifying undercurrent hidden within this silence. Lin Dong's black eyes looked at the ancient palace. His pupils suddenly shrunk a moment later when he saw the golden light around it suddenly blossom. It was as if a golden sun had risen from within the mountain range. Swoosh! A golden river of light suddenly shot out from the ancient palace. After which, it bent and twisted, appearing like a golden circle above the ancient palace. Golden light rapidly flowed. In the next moment, countless different colored clusters of light appeared from the circle of light while waves of powerful ripples erupted from within. The divine objects have appeared. The entire mountain range quickly became noisy as those clusters of light appeared. Countless eyes reddened and some even showed signs of turning into wild beasts. Hum hum. The golden light circle rotated at high speeds while countless clusters of light spun within the circle. As it rotated, one could see beams of light suddenly erupt from it one after another. Bang! The entire divine item mountain range fell into a complete uproar as the many light beams shot out from the golden circle of light. Those who had suppressed themselves earlier also lost control at this moment as their locust-like figures seemed to blot even the sun itself. Thump thump. It was vaguely possible to see objects of various shapes within the beams of light. Each beam of light would quickly be buried by a black mass of people before it could travel 3,000 feet, and crazed fights swiftly erupted. Yuan power spluttered as force overflowed in all directions. Miserable cries also sounded within the mountain range at this moment. Attempting to snatch a treasure from under so many watching eyes was clearly not an easy task. Lin Dong's eyes were cold as he watched the crazy fights break out on the mountain before him. He did not intend to intervene. Those objects that had escaped from the golden circle were not even considered divine objects. However, even the worst of them were comparable to an ordinary heaven-rank soul treasure. This was still considered a treasure to many. Hence, it was not surprising for such bloody fights to erupt. The true treasures are still inside. Lin Dong's eyes stared intently at the huge golden light circle rotating above the ancient palace. Exceptionally dazzling clusters of light would occasionally be seen. However, it seemed as though they were unable to break free from the restraints of the golden light circle. Thus, they could only zip about within it. The chaos that had enveloped divine item mountain range continued. Moreover, it grew more and more chaotic as an increasing number of light beams shot out while a thick bloody scent unknowingly covered the entire mountain range. Lin Dong and the group from the deep lightning mountain quietly stood on their mountain in the face of this chaos. Likewise, the other demon commander factions and some of the more highly ranked factions within the Beast War region also remained calm. The eyes of these groups were experienced and sharp. Therefore, ordinary soul treasures were unable to draw their attention. This wait continued for over a dozen minutes when a figure suddenly shot out from one of the mountains nearby. This person was relatively well built. The muscles all over his body made him akin to a metal tower, and an explosive force would erupt each time his muscles moved. That is the Bull Demon Commander. He is not weaker than Xu Shong. Little Flame looked at the figure and remarked. Lin Dong nodded. His gaze was fixed on the Bull Demon Commander. At this moment, the latter was hovering in the air. With a clench of his giant hand, an ancient divine tablet flashed and appeared. His hand jerked and the ancient divine tablet turned into a dark golden band of light that quickly shot into the golden light circle like a bolt of lightning. Buzz! The band of dark golden light suddenly tightened after it shot into the golden light circle. Everyone could clearly detect an extremely fierce and uncontrollable energy charge out from the golden light circle through the band of light. Subsequently, it ruthlessly blasted the Bull Demon Commander. Humph! The Bull Demon Commander let out a cold snort upon seeing this. Dense dark grey light whizzed out from his body as his already huge body swelled to almost twice its original size. Immediately, he grabbed with his hand. With a jerk, the golden band of light seemed to twist and turn as it returned. When the band of light exited the golden light circle, it was already entwined around a giant black axe. Many ancient symbols covered the giant axe and a powerful ripple spread from it. Crash! Countless pairs of eyes looked towards the black giant axe, which was emitting extraordinary fluctuations while an uproar filled with greed erupted. All of them could sense the huge difference between the soul treasures within the light beams that had shot out and this black giant axe. The Bull Demon Commander rejoiced upon seeing this. His body shot forward and grabbed the black giant axe. Soon after, boundless Yuan power surged out. An ominous glint flashed in his eyes as he looked at the surrounding people who were eyeing him with malicious intent. Those subordinates of his hurried over, forming a defensive perimeter around him. This deterred those greed-filled individuals. After all, trying to snatch something from a demon commander was not an easy task. That fellow is quite lucky. He has actually successfully managed to obtain a divine object. Little Flame withdrew his eyes and said with some surprise. Lin Dong nodded. An unusual, wild and violent energy filled the interior of the golden light circle. Even though the band of light formed by the ancient divine tablet could penetrate it, the divine object obtained would largely depend on one's luck. After all, practically no one could choose what they wanted within the fierce and uncontrolled energy that filled the light circle. Everything depended on luck. After the Bull Demon Commander succeeded, the other demon commanders were no longer able to sit still and could not help but take action. The demon commander Qinsha from the 100 Beast Ridge, who had once exchanged blows with Lin Dong, also tried to grab a divine object. However, his luck was clearly not as good as the Bull Demon Commander. The band of light caused a stir when it shot into golden light circle. However, it was empty when he pulled it back. This caused his face to turn unusually green with fury. Lin Dong secretly laughed upon seeing this. Soon after he glanced at the other three great demon commanders. They were staring intently at the rotating golden circle of light while strange fluctuations rippled around them. It was obvious that they were utilizing various methods to check if there were any treasures worthy of their efforts within the golden circle. Lin Dong's eyes narrowed and he also shifted his gaze towards the golden light circle. A thought passed through his mind and mental energy suddenly surged out in a stealthy manner. Finally, it charged forward. However, the mental energy was shattered upon contact with the golden light circle. However, this did not disappoint Lin Dong. Instead, the latter smiled faintly. The shattered mental energy surged towards the golden light circle like a swarm of locusts. The tough mental energy training over this period of time had clearly allowed Lin Dong's control of mental energy to grow far beyond the level he was previously at. Mental energy attempted to enter from every gap. Although it experienced numerous failures, a small sliver of mental energy ultimately managed to invade the golden light circle. Subsequently, the activity inside was rapidly being fed back to Lin Dong's mind. Lin Dong's narrowed eyes widened at this moment as some interest finally rose from the depths of his eyes. A brilliant golden light circle continuously rotated. Objects wrapped in beams of light rapidly shot out one after another as if they were freebies, sparking numerous cruel and bloody battles. Lin Dong's gaze slowly began to withdraw from the golden light circle. There was some interest deep within his eyes. He had detected a relatively strong ripple when his mental energy invaded the golden light circle earlier. Have those three fellows also discovered it? They are indeed worthy of being samsara stage experts. However, while Lin Dong withdrew his eyes, he sensed the bodies of the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio suddenly freeze as excitement rose on their faces. Clearly, they had also used their own methods to find certain divine objects with the most powerful ripples within the golden light circle. Big brother, how was it? Little Flame by the side inquired. Divine Item Mountain Range was currently in a frenzy. That golden light circle continuously spit out treasures, causing the eyes of many to be filled with desire. Let's wait and see. Lin Dong narrowed his eyes and softly said. It was clearly inappropriate to make their move at such a time. The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio exchanged a glance with each other after Lin Dong's voice sounded. Soon after, the Ghost Condor Demon Commander laughed loudly. Since all of you are not going to make your moves, allow me to be the first to do so. Swish! A golden band of light had already swiftly shot out from his hand, heading straight into the golden light circle. The gazes of the many experts in Divine Item Mountain Range hurriedly gathered upon seeing the Ghost Condor Demon Commander take action. They clearly understood that these three demon commanders would not act unless they saw a worthy target. Since the Ghost Condor Demon Commander had chosen to act, there was definitely something that had caught his eyes. They were curious to find out what level this divine object had to be in order to catch the eye of one of the three great demon commanders. The Ghost Condor Demon Commander revealed the astonishing power of a samsara stage expert the moment he acted. The band of golden light was akin to an extremely solid golden rod as it shot into the golden light circle. After which, everyone watched as the band of golden light shuttled back and forth within the rapidly rotating light circle. It was clearly searching for its target. The Ghost Condor Demon Commander had already chosen his target. Hence, this search only lasted for a moment before the golden light pounced like a viper. Subsequently, it twined around a rapidly spinning black light. Caught it! Joy instantly surged on the Ghost Condor Demon Commander's face. However, his expression quickly changed. Everyone felt an unusually wild and violent resistance sweep out from the golden light circle, causing it to tremble intensely. The resistance of this big catch seemed to be relatively intense. The expression in the Ghost Condor Demon Commander's eyes changed when he felt this powerful resistance. A sharp cry was emitted as vast and mighty Yuan power swept out from his hand in an attempt to forcibly drag out the grabbed divine object. Buzz buzz. The golden band of light became extremely taut. Those present could feel the frightening face-off contained under this tautness. The rotation speed of the golden light circle started to increase at this moment as a frightening pulling force erupted from it. It pulled at the Yuan power of the Ghost Condor Demon Commander until it showed signs of becoming somewhat disorderly. He won't be able to grab hold of that object. Lin Dong's eyes hardened. Surprise appeared in them as he stared at the cluster of black light within the golden light circle. It seemed that this divine object was quite powerful. Otherwise, it would not be able to force a Samsara stage expert into such a tight spot even with the interference of the mysterious divine palace. This face-off continued for a couple of minutes. However, that golden band of light began to show signs of fading due to the pulling forces. It was clearly unable to withstand the powerful forces. Damn it! The expression of the Ghost Condor Demon Commander immediately changed upon seeing this. He clenched his teeth and his hand jerked in a decisive manner. The golden band of light gave up on the troublesome black cluster of light. With a pull, the band of light flew backwards, bringing out a red light cluster with it. The Ghost Condor Demon Commander grabbed the red light cluster. The light surrounding it disappeared as it turned into a red ruler. Scorching heat waves rippled from it. It was obviously a rather powerful divine object. However, the expression of the Ghost Condor Demon Commander was quite ugly when he saw it. He could feel that the divine object in his hand did not belong on the ancient divine object ranking. Ha ha, Ghost Condor, it seems like you have failed. The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander and the Golden Ape Demon Commander burst out in laughter upon seeing this. Their laughter contained a gloating tone. Ghost Condor had a dark expression as he laughed coldly. Why don't you give it a try? This thing is even more difficult to subdue than the 9 Sky Heavy Mountain. It likely possessed quite a high ranking on the Divine Object ranking. The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander duo's faces twitched slightly as intense greed surged from deep within their eyes. The 9 Sky Heavy Mountain was ranked 32 on the Divine Object ranking. Just how strong was this thing for it to have a higher ranking? Let me try. The Golden Ape Demon Commander grinned. He did not say anything unnecessary as his hand shook and a golden band of light shot into the golden light circle. Lin Dong's expression was calm as he watched this scene. Soon after, he crossed his long fingers. The result will very quickly be out. His estimate was not wrong. In a mere 5 minutes, the expression of the Golden Ape Demon Commander became increasingly grave. He endured for another 5 minutes as he felt the resistance grow stronger and stronger. In the end, all he could do was unwillingly give up like Ghost Condor had and retrieve another divine object instead. However, it was obvious that he was dissatisfied with the divine object that he had obtained. At this moment, many secretly shocked gazes looked over from Divine Item Mountain Range. Evidently, the failure of both the Ghost Condor Demon Commander and the Golden Ape Demon Commander had been seen by them. Just what level was this divine object at that it could not be subdued by these two Samsara stage experts? The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander did not mock them after seeing that even the Golden Ape Demon Commander had failed. His eyes became a little more serious. He was well aware of the strength of those two. If they were helpless against that thing, it was likely that he would not fare any better against it. That divine object is likely able to enter the top 25 positions on the divine object ranking. The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander clenched his teeth. He took a step forward as the ancient divine tablet in his hand turned into a golden band of light that ferociously shot into the golden light circle. Countless pairs of eyes were focused on him. Several people had even gradually removed themselves from the other fights. Lin Dong narrowed his eyes as he observed. An undetectable ridicule was lifted from the corners of his mouth a moment later. This Heaven Dragon Demon Commander would likely have to return empty-handed this time around. As time flowed, everyone saw the expression of the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander gradually turn ugly. The golden band of light also gradually faded under the pulling of the two wild and violent forces. However, this Heaven Dragon Demon Commander was quite stubborn. He was unwilling to stop even at this moment. Hence a bang was heard as the golden band of light was torn apart. This time around, he had truly returned empty-handed. He had not even obtained a consolation divine object. Bastard! When the band of light broke, the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander's expression turned a furious shade of green as he involuntarily cursed. Everyone around involuntarily shook their heads in pity after seeing that even the three great demon commanders had failed. Soon after, curiosity rose in their hearts. All of them really wanted to know just what object could make these three Samsara stage experts so helpless. Little Flame, there is no need to be anxious regardless of what happens later on. I have my own solution. Lin Dong smiled a little. After which, he looked at Little Flame beside him and softly said, "Does Big Brother also intend to target that item?" Little Flame was startled. Chen Tong and the others by the side were also stunned as they looked at Lin Dong. After all, even the three great demon commanders had failed earlier. Lin Dong smiled and nodded but did not elaborate. All he did was to stare intently at the golden light circle with his black eyes. Little Flame nodded upon seeing this. He always had great confidence in Lin Dong. After all, he could succeed where others could not. Lin Dong stepped forward after speaking. Subsequently, he appeared in the sky under the attention of everyone in the mountains. His appearance immediately attracted the gazes of many pairs of eyes. They clearly had quite a deep impression of this person who had dared to challenge the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander earlier. Moreover, from the looks of it, it seemed that he was about to make his move. The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander glanced at Lin Dong as the corners of his mouth curled downwards. There were expressions of amusement in the eyes of the Golden Ape Demon Commander and the Ghost Condor Demon Commander. Did this fellow really intend to give it a try? Lin Dong ignored the various gazes on him as he stared at the golden light circle. With a clench of his hand, an ancient tablet flashed and appeared. Immediately, a golden light band reached out from it. Swoosh! Lin Dong's hand jerked as the golden light band shot forward. Subsequently, it entered the golden circle of light. Soon after, the light band flashed and it actually rushed towards the most formidable black light cluster. Uproar! An uproar spread across the place. Lin Dong was indeed aiming for that item. However, where did his confidence come from? Even the three Samsara stage experts were unable to succeed. The Golden Ape Demon Commander and the Ghost Condor Demon Commander frowned. Their fear of Lin Dong originated from the mysterious puppet at the latter's side. However, Lin Dong was currently relying on his own strength in an attempt to subdue a divine object which they could do nothing about. This undoubtedly appeared as though he was inviting humiliation. You are really reckless. The expression of the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander was dark as a cold chuckle was emitted through his teeth. Was he not afraid of death due to overeating with such a huge appetite? Lin Dong did not have the time to bother about them. His black eyes stared intently at the rotating golden circle of light. There seemed to be a warm and strange white light slowly rising from the depths of his eyes. This video will end here.